Hey everyone, I want to show you how to load the software for doing multi-track recording in the main auditorium. So the first thing we're going to do is turn on the computer, which is down here on the rack, MAVSC. VSC stands for Virtual Sound Check. So we're going to push that button to turn on the Mac Mini that's in the rack. You heard the sound. It should make that sound every time. Then I'm going to assume you already have the main computer on. So on that main computer, we're going to go to the Finder, which is like a file browser. Then we're going to go to Network, where the location there on the left. And in Network, you may see a bunch of computers, or you may just see a couple, but the one you're looking for is this MA Audio VSC. So I'm going to double click on that. And it says not connected, and I'm going to come over here and hit share screen. So we're going to use the main computer to remote control the Virtual Sound Check or VSC computer. And so you see we got a window that came up that looks like another desktop, which is exactly what it is. So I'm going to click the little green button to maximize that. And now we can switch back and forth using Control and the left and right arrows. So if I hit Control left, I get back to the main computer. If I hit Control right, I go back to the Virtual Sound Check computer, and I can switch back and forth. So then to load the software for doing the multi-track recording, well, since I did it, I'll show you. So if you go too far down, you actually get the icon bar for the main computer. So don't do that. You want to stay up here on the icon bar for just the VSC computer, the multi-track computer. So I'm going to click this SGST, SoundGrid Studio, is what that stands for. And we're going to let that load. That is the driver that lets the audio come into the computer. So we want to load that first before we load the actual multi-track recording software. And I like to go to Setup to make sure this is all set correctly. And in fact, it's not. So it booted up with a network port, so it should be this EN0, but it's set to 44.1 kilohertz, which is not what we want. We want 48K. And so now you can see over here, the MGB says DIG, which stands for digital input, so it's getting its clock source from MADI, which is what we want. So we want that to say DIG. So now that we've got that set correctly, we're going to come down here to the software, the multi-track software, which is Reaper. We're going to let Reaper load. If I haven't paid for it, by the time you're watching this video, you'll get this splash screen, and you'll have to click Still Evaluating. And now that we're in Reaper, we'll do a couple of things. One, we can come up here and load from the template, so File, Project, Templates, and then choose the most recent one. And that'll set up all of our channels, channel names, routing, all that kind of stuff. And then to check to make sure that we're getting audio like we should be, we can take this scroll bar here at the bottom and go most of the way over until we see the audience mics. And the reason we want to check the audience mics is, one, they're farther down on the list. Occasionally, we have problems with getting sort of the low number channels as well as the high number channels through the driver. So it's good to check a high number channel, which is where we're at here, down on the far right. And the other thing is, it's really easy to test because I happen to be sitting underneath one of the audience mics. So if I get a little bit louder, you can see those audience mics light up. We're getting signal, which is how it should be. So everything is working in this case. So then the last thing I'm going to do before I'm ready to record is go ahead and save this project so that there's a folder for the software to save all of the files, the audio files, into. So we can go to File, Save Project, or we can do Command S is the shortcut for that. And then it'll ask you where to put that. we want this box to be checked so that it'll create a project folder or subdirectory for us. And then we're going to take one step out from the previous user and go to the MA Multitrack, so that's the external disk that's attached to this computer. And then we're going to title our project by date. So today's date is 27th of April, 2022. And then, you know, whatever the name of your service is. So maybe it's Sunday morning, or maybe it's college, or whatever the case might be. So I'm just going to call it test for now. And then I'll hit save. And now you can see that name appeared at the top of the window for our project. So it's ready to go now. If you hit the record button, it will start recording audio on all of those channels that have been armed. And if you hit the stop button, it'll stop. It'll ask if you want to save all of those, and the answer is yes, you want to save them. Or if they're, you know, if you just hit record to test it and they're not useful to you, you can hit delete all. But typically you're going to hit save all. And then you'll notice the cursor starts back at the beginning. That's fine. If you hit record again, it'll start recording separate audio files. It'll look like it's writing over the old ones, but it's actually not. On the hard disk, there'll be two separate files. But if you want to avoid the way that it looks, you can hit the end key on the keyboard. And when you hit that key, you'll see the cursor jump to the end of the previously recorded audio. And so then when you start recording audio again, it'll start from that point. But again, you don't have to do that. That's really just for looks and not for functionality. So there you have it. There is a recording on the virtual soundcheck or multi-track computer. When you're done, you can save your project. So I'll do Command S is the shortcut for that. Save the project. Command Q is the shortcut for quit in Mac. So I'll quit. That software went away. The SGST software, we could do Command Q. For some reason, I feel like hitting this quit button is a little bit, the software seems to like that a little bit better. It's asking if you want to save the session. No, we don't need to save the session. It'll finish what it's doing, and then you can do Apple shutdown. And it'll shut down that computer. You can then go Control left to get back to the main computer. And that's it.